Good morning / afternoon, college football fans. Well, here we go again. That's right, y'all. The duo of Larry B and Teran Rodriguez is right back at ya as we are talking college football. Well, we have the season 2 finale. A couple of weeks ago when we all said it was done with, football had come to an end. The Georgia Bulldogs reigned supreme. Can we get one more applause for that dominant program? Well, we certainly had fun talking college football all year long. But what happens to these players now? What happens when they move right along to the next level? Is there a next level for some of these guys? Will they head to that next level? And how do they plan to get there? Well, I'll tell you, coming up in just about an hour, close to an hour, kickoff of the first of 3 Senior Bowl type games, the NFLPA Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, the East-West Shrine Bowl, and of course, coming up next weekend, we have the Senior Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so much to get to with so many players to watch out for. You are tuned in live to 3 and Out College Edition right here on IE Sports Radio. You're ready for all that is sports. Welcome, college football fans. Here we go again. Man, it's been fun. Teran and I have just been we've been on the airwaves all morning long, man. I started off with a great show earlier today. Mr. Jason Lahr starting us off with high-octane entertainment. Then we went into 2 primetime face-offs here on the network on StreamYard. By the way, if you ever want to catch any of those reruns, it is on YouTube at IE Sports Radio. Make sure to check us out there as well, because we are certainly on YouTube. Show us some love, all of our videos, and lots of great content there. But I must also say that we have a lot to get into today, and so let's just, we'll cut some of the introduction part down. But Sarah and I were on live earlier. We had 2 great face-offs, man. 2 really great face-offs. As we had the AFC Championship, the NFC Championship. Big ups and thank you to everybody that was a participant in them. Mr. Christopher Lehman, Mr. Bobby Tazinski, Miss Gina G, Miss Jess, Mr. Spuds, and of course, my co-host here. Ladies and gentlemen, he, of course, is IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer class of 2020. He is one of the COOs of IE Sports Radio. He is the founder and host of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, the founder and host of Set Point here, our volleyball show on IE Sports Radio, the co-host of 3 and Out College Edition right here on IE Sports Radio, and he is, of course, the head of the PR department. So many accolades. If I forgot any, forgive me, Teran. You have so many of them. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Teran Rodriguez. What's going on, brother? How you doing today?
Hey, Larry B. It's great to be back on. It feels like we just talked about an hour ago. And let's do some college football stuff.
Let's indeed do some college football stuff, Teran. Well, big ups to the chat, by the way, showing love, man. We thank you very much, Matthew Hames, jumping in. So glad to have you. And Teran, you're the man. Absolutely, Teran. So we're jumping around, having fun here this morning, and well, we're going to talk about some of these bowl games. So, the bowl season is over, but these, of course, are the games where you have the guys who are really trying to get out to that next level. Where will they go? What will they do? Where will they be? We will find out. So, who to watch for? Let's get into it. So, first things first, Teran. How about this, man? We got 3 games coming up. We got the first one coming up, actually, the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl coming up at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. We also then have coming up on, I believe next Thursday, yes, on February 3rd at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, the NCAA East-West Shrine Bowl, NCAA football there. And then, of course, next weekend, you and I will be on same time, same place It wasn't going to be 10:30, but might as well just make it even 10 a.m. next week, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. for us on the West Coast, as we get ready for the Senior Bowl. And then, Teran, we'll have one more show after that to talk about this, maybe in that next week. And, dude, that's going to do it, man. We're going to kind of get you ready. So what we're doing today is we're going to start off and just kind of talk about who to look for, maybe read some articles and read a few things there from some of the experts and everything. We'll have a recap, of course, next week and then get into the Senior Bowl. And then that's going to be it. The following week, we'll find a time to kind of just talk about a recap of it and kind of get you ready for the, moving into the combine. And then that's it, you guys. We're going to roll right into 3 and Out, the other 3 and Out show. And this is where Teran joins me, of course, as we kind of have a transitional period where, of course, we, 3 and Out College Edition stays with College Edition. 3 and Out stays with 3 and Out. This year, there was no actual 3 and Out show since Primetime Phase Out kind of took it over. This coming year, there is an actual 3 and Out show that'll be weekly. This time, the teaching is tough, guys. So I had to put my feet wet. First year in it, really just kind of getting back to it and everything. So Teran and I will have, of course, shows surrounding the Combine. We will talk all about that coming up in early March, late February. We'll have a few shows, one before the Combine, one after the Combine. Then we'll get into the draft in late April. We'll have a show before the draft, after the draft, and these are all 3 and Out shows. So the final 3 and Out College Edition show will be after the Senior Bowl. Once again, that is after February 5th. Probably sometime that week of the 6th to the 12th. And then we're going to put a lid on this one until July, all right, until we get ready to start talking football there. And then, of course, like I said, it's going to be 3 and Out, regular, 3 and Out shows, off-season stuff with Teran and myself. We'll be talking that. We may have some other guests. Mike Pat always joins us for the draft usually. We have Mr. John Felipe, of course. We might have Kylan Reynolds popping in here, of course. Now iSports Radio Hall of Fame Kylan Reynolds. So there's so much to get to with that. And then, of course, 3 and Out will start up in August in the primetime face-offs and all kinds of good stuff. So with that said, man, so much to get to, right, Teran? There's a lot, man. Football is crazy, isn't it? It's all year round for us.
Indeed. So much football, so little time. And I was thinking we should just call this off-season edition, but when it comes to you and I, there is no off-season.
Yeah, brother, there really isn't. We have no off-season, man. So I just got to tell you. So, by the way, USRN just went live right now. I also want to announce this real quick. Yeah, Matt, Owen, Seth Eves, Matt White, myself, my fiance is even getting involved. We might have Fiji Sims himself, Chris Lehman jumping in, Teran Rodriguez, so many of us. And that's just, I forgot who else is on this thing. My apologies. But we are actually about 45 minutes, about 30 minutes away, 35 to be precise, maybe about 30 minutes away from the green flag of the IMSA Rolex 24 in Daytona. So that flag drops at 10:40. So yeah, we're like under 30 minutes to go, you guys. So we're going to be out of here by 10:40 coming up, but right when that flag drops. But great stuff. Make sure to join us. We will actually, our little segment, the iSports Radio segment, will be on tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific time, 12 midnight. We're going to roll for 3 hours until 12 midnight on the West Coast, 3 a.m. on the East Coast. So we'll be talking about that, having some fun. Our little piece of the IMSA pie here, a part of all the networks, USRN, USRN2, WSRN, Wanted Sports Radio, and of course, IE Sports Radio. We love doing this. We love covering March Madness. We're going to get lots more of those good things coming this year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into actually football here. So Teran, brother, we just had a great primetime face-off. You and Spuds reigned victorious, so congratulations yet again. Great job there in the face-off now. But let's get on into some college football, brother. So starting things off here, we have the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl starting us in just under an hour now. And I'm looking at here at collegiate football, collegiate.nflpa .com here, and we got the big board up. But Teran, first things first, man. Your thoughts on all these different bowls for these seniors, or the players that are leaving as well. What do you think about all these games? And do you feel that these are significant? They hold significant meaning. Some people actually feel these games aren't even all that impressive. I mean, what do you personally think before we get into these games?
I think these games are just as meaningful. It's basically like a final dress rehearsal and a final tune-up for these potential NFL players. And I think these are very significant due to the fact that everyone needs to have that final tune-up just because they want to make a big first impression and a lasting impression on the scouts that are going to be checking them out. So I think this does have significance, especially for the players that are about to enter the NFL draft. So I think this is kind of underrated, and I think we got to educate everybody about this.
I am totally with you, Teran. This is like the Pro Bowl of, the All-Star game, if you will, of college football, except for this is actually meaningful going to the next level. All-Star games are fun. Some people may say the Pro Bowls, whatever. I still like it. So anyway, with that said, we got some big names coming forward. You're absolutely right, Teran. These games hold much more significance than what some people think. It's like, oh, it's like the Pro Bowl. This is not like the Pro Bowl. This is another, you're right, final dress rehearsal. The last time these guys are actually in pads in a game to show off what they've got to these NFL scouts. So, Teran, man, we got some good stuff, man. We got some really, 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 really good stuff coming up here with some of these players. So, first things first, the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl is getting ready once again to kick off in just under an hour, and we got some really good athletes coming on out here. A article here says by Jelani Scott, written on Thursday, January 22nd. This is courtesy of NFL.com. I really think this is pretty cool. He go ahead and names a couple of reasons here why this is such a great thing, actually, I think is what he's going with this. He says, the NFL Collegiate Bowl is one of the top annual all-star showcases for draft-eligible prospects. In addition to the game itself, the week-long experience allows players a chance to make an impression on the NFL, coaches, and scouts ahead of the 2022 NFL Draft. Here are 5 takeaways from Wednesday's practice at the Rose Bowl. So he does have, of course, some takeaways and everything, but I love this. He says, bright lights and a bit of perspective. A takeaway, iron sharpens iron. And of course, I'm not going to get too into this here, but I do believe that he's talking, if I'm not mistaken, my apologies. Of course, you can read the article for yourself, but I feel like a takeaway from this is iron sharpens iron. You're getting a chance to play against some of the best players around the country. These guys they all feel that they have a shot at making it to the league, so they're going to go balls out. They're going to play as hard as they possibly can in this game. They're the best around the country. Some of these guys haven't seen each other one time in their entire college career, because one may play on the West Coast, one may play on the East Coast, and their team just didn't happen to meet up in the Cheez-It Bowl or something. So, iron does sharpen iron. You got these guys out here going hard, trying to make a name for themselves. The eye on the prize, I definitely agree with that. Let's see here. We actually have tight end makes play of the day. I want to read this real quick. Nebraska's Austin Ellen turns heads during the American team practice with Cal quarterback Chase Garbers. Teran knows a few things about him. Lined up under center, Allen released off the line and ran a route up the middle of the field. After a few moments of surveying, Garbers fired a rocket that appeared slightly out of Allen's reach, but the former Cornhusker snagged the ball out of the air with one hand before securing it as he hit the ground. So as you can see, big-time play there from the big man. Garbers, of course, the guy that Teran knows all too well from his area. The birthplace effect, that's another part here, but we'll go into that, but I'm just saying, this little article here, written, very nicely written, go check it out yourself as well, NFL.com, but gotta say, man, yes, certainly some things here to take a look at. So before we get into some players, actually, Teran, let's go ahead and get in, we want to go ahead and comment on any of those things before we get into the players?
Not really, but I'm actually just excited to see some of these big-time names from some of these big-time colleges, mainly Chase Garbers, just because I have seen him personally, not just on the college level, but back in high school as well. So I'll be interested to see if he actually can get drafted and then make himself a big name.
Well, Teran, let's start there, man. The quarterback position, Chase Garber is actually out there in this game going on right now. And, the young man played well. He's from the Orange County area. He played quarterback at Cal. And, well, what are you really thinking right now? What should people look out for him?
I think in terms of mobility, he's kind of good when it comes to being a mobile quarterback to me. I think he can make stuff happen. I think he mainly comes up big in third down. I personally think that he's not to be underestimated. And all in all, for Garbers, I think he can sometimes make magic happen. I think he was one of the reasons why Cal was relevant this year and in years past. I just think he just needed that chance.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And certainly a very strong, tough player he is. And I feel like, yeah, he could end up somewhere. I don't know if he'll be a starter anywhere, but he could end up as somebody that could come in as a backup role and, that Tom Brady type. I mean, we don't know. The guy's got talent. So certainly big name player there. But yeah, moving forward, man, there's a couple of players that I think we can really attest to, and some that we may not know too much about, but would like to see more of. There's a couple players here. For instance, staying at Cal, Cameron Good, linebacker out of Cal, a player who seems very agile, has done very well the last couple of years. Guy who could come out and turn some heads. Also, Curtis Hodges, Arizona State tight end, guy coming out as well, looking strong. We just talked about the former Husker. Coming out at tight end as well. So really, there's a lot. But there is one player, Quantrez Knight, I want to say. I don't want to butcher his name, but I just did. DB from UCLA. Teran, what can you tell us about him? Do you know anything about Quantrez Knight?
I haven't really seen him personally, but I think he could do some big things. Now that you mentioned tight ends, I want to say that Greg Dulce will be entering the draft, and he's been a beast of a tight end. I think he can somewhat be the next Gronk. That's a bit of a stretch to say, but I think he can make a big impact, and I think he's kind of on the level of Bowers from Georgia, in my opinion. So there's that.
That's saying a lot. For this young man to come out and play, he actually played very well this past season. A guy that kid has really come a ways in his career, his college career. So I will certainly say he's somebody that's another head turner out there that could really, make an impact somewhere. We have some Mountain West players that I was really excited about, Teran. A couple of guys, I'm pretty sure you know a few of them. But we do have a couple of athletes that are, coming out to make something happen. And really, the one that I want to zone in on, there's an article here written by, let's take a look here. I want to make sure I get the source. Matthew Currently, from Mountain West Wire. And he talks about a San Diego State player, Teran. Now, you being very frustrated covering the Aztecs this year, this young man actually was very consistent. The safety, Trenton Thompson, you've talked about him before, I'm sure. A very solid player, and he seems to be something incredible. He had 44 tackles this year, 3.5 tackles for a loss, so 3.5 tackles for a loss. And he looked pretty good. He said in this article that, let's see here, this is while defending a team-high 14 passes. Wow, including 3 interceptions. Also, linebacker Segun Alubi, I believe, appeared in 21 games for San Diego State over the past 2 years, including 6 starts in the first half of 2021, and finished last season with 53 total tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, and 2 sacks. Teran, these are pretty solid players coming out of the Mountain West. 2 guys that I really do think could actually end up somewhere and be sleepers on a defense to actually make something happen. What do you had some frustrations with San Diego State this year? What about these guys? Have you heard anything, or what do you think personally going forward after I read all that?
So one thing to make note of is that San Diego State had a very good defense. Like, their defense was what kept them in games. Like, the offense had their moments, mainly courtesy of the Bell brothers, a.k.a. mainly Greg Bell, but the defense as a whole was pretty solid and very stout for San Diego State. It did have its lapses against some opponents, such as Utah State and Fresno State, but all in all, I think any defensive player that stood out for San Diego State will have their eyes on when it comes to like these scouts, just because that San Diego State defense was incredible for the most part. It got them to the championship game. So, yeah.
Absolutely, man. And San Diego State, I think these guys can go somewhere and make something happen, man. They're two under-the-radar guys, I feel, and I'm really looking forward to seeing both these names somewhere on draft day. We get it. They're not going to be first-round draft picks. They may not even be second or third. But you see these guys in the later rounds. Honestly, it'd be really cool to see these guys head on out somewhere and be a part. I don't want to say they're going to be freaking Brian Urlacher, okay? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is it'd be pretty cool to see these guys head somewhere and be a nice piece of a team where it's like they're contributors. You know, big ups to Mike Pat in the chat room saying good evening or good afternoon, gentlemen. Good to have you, brother. We'll be on for a little bit, talking some players coming up here. So I also took a look here at another article, Teran. This is written by James Fragoza. Yesterday, I believe, on the 20th. No, actually today. NFLPA Collegiate Bowl 2022 top prospects, including Sam Williams and Akio Glass. And he put this up here on this article. You can catch that at profootballnetwork.com. So he does bring up Sam Williams, edge rusher out of Ole Miss. Sam Williams, he says, has fallen somewhat through the cracks as a pass rusher or edge class. Crowded edge class, that is, sorry. And Mike says here in the chat room, if you're not Brian Urlacher, why bother? Yeah, I mean, good stuff there, man. Absolutely. But why bother? If I'm not going to be a freaking Hall of Famer, why bother? So, but yeah, he says here that for Sam Williams, he was at Northeast Mississippi Community College in 2018 before transferring to Ole Miss, and he had some little issues going on with him, but he got himself back, I believe, and he looks pretty solid. Top player to take a look at here, Akio Glass, also the quarterback out of Alabama A&M. He's 6'3", 233 pounds. He says he has a powerful right arm. And let's see here. At HBCU, passer all-time throwing. Wow. So check this out. Regardless, Glass is one of the most prolific HBCU passers of all time, throwing for 12,136 yards, 110 touchdowns, 41 interceptions in his Alabama A&M career. Solid player there. Marquis Bell, safety out of Florida. He's 6'2", 200 pounds here. He also is a hard-hitting safety, it looks like here. And it looks like he may actually make a splash here in this bowl. So another player to watch out for. And let's take a look here. We've got a couple more. Daniel Hardy, linebacker out of Montana State. Teran, remember, this is one of the young men that went heads up with the monster beast itself, North Dakota State. North Dakota State Bison. And, well, as Teran always, I just, I got to steal it every time, but running into the buzzsaw that was North Dakota State. Montana State fell apart in that game. North Dakota State picked them apart, really. But you know what? This guy actually played really well. Daniel Hardy, he says here that he posted the third most sacks, 16, in the FCS this season, while bringing an immense amount of pressure each week. Talk about a solid player. He says after beginning the year at 223 pounds, he bulked up to 241 at the NFLPA Bowl. He turned heads in one-on-one drills quickly, beating opposing offensive tackles. Teran, you usually don't go up in weight in a season. You actually lose weight. It's known that you're bigger and stronger usually before the season. You take the off season to get bigger. You take the off season to grow strength. You're going to use it in the season. In the season, you usually have like maybe 2 lifts a week. You're playing a lot. You're not lifting as much. And when you are lifting, you're kind of lifting to maintain. You're not necessarily trying to put on any mass or anything. This dude actually put on freaking mass, man, and got bigger. He went up by nearly 18 pounds. He actually got bigger. So that's impressive. So I'm going to stop there real quick. But Teran, any thoughts on any of these guys?
So, yeah, you mentioned the player that got bigger. I think that's big right there just because you have to have girth in the NFL and strength. Otherwise, you can get eaten alive by some of those big boys at the front or back. So I think for me, I think repetition is everything. And honestly, it's key when it comes to the NFL. So I think it's big. And as long as you don't get hurt, you're in good shape.
Absolutely, Teran. Yeah, talk about it. So we're going to really look out for this young man. Once again, check him out, Daniel Hardy. Mike says here in the chat room, North Dakota State is a D1 team taking advantage of the lower level opponents. Teran, you and I have been saying that for years. It's, yeah, there's something else, man. But Clarence Hicks, linebacker at UTSA. He is a versatile pass rusher. He has 10.5 sacks in 2021, and he holds his own in coverage. Another player to take a look at. Also, Zach Van Valkenburg, defensive lineman out of Iowa. We know they're pretty used to producing the beef. So great stuff there. He also said earlier, 12,000 yards. Yeah, pretty solid number there, right? For that young man, that quarterback, man, Akio Glass. Also, we're going to move on just a little bit more. Like I said, Iowa. He's a big boy, 6'4", 246 pounds. Coming on in. Looks like he's more of a speed rusher. But, yeah, so as you can see, we got a pretty solid group of people in this here. Teran, is there anybody you'd like to throw out there on this one? I love it because this game, you're going to see, this one in the Shrine Bowl, you're going to see more of the FCS or lower division guys versus in the Senior Bowl, it's not always, but almost strictly the higher tier players in single A. Mike Pett says 240 pounds is a good mark for those 3-4 outside linebackers. Oh, absolutely. You want a hoss that can move playing in those positions. Mike says 6'4", 246. Drools in team scouting. Yeah, Mike, you're a fan of the Washington football team. I'm a fan of the Raiders. Yeah, we've yet to have a solid backer for years. So, yeah. So, Teran, so is there anybody you want to highlight in this game from the NFLPA Bowl before we go ahead and move on to the Shrine Bowl coming up?
There's too many in particular. I'm just really excited on what's to come for this NFLPA Bowl, just because it's going to highlight a lot of players, and more importantly, it's going to see who's a cut above the rest. So that's me, however.
Okay, well that works. So the Shrine Bowl is coming up on Thursday, and if there's anybody else out there wants us to take a look at those are some players that I've really highlighted and I thought were very solid athletes. All of them are, and we're really excited for these young men. But moving forward, we really do have some big time players to watch out for in the Shrine Bowl coming up as well. Another exciting game, really a game that really I feel is these are great games for players who maybe kind of fell off a little bit, maybe aren't at Senior Bowl quality, or at least some people may think. I don't want to say this, but we've seen it historically kind of true. The NFLPA and the Shrine Bowl produce basically like the third and later guys. You're usually going to get some of the Senior Bowl, the majority of guys playing in the playing in the big one, the Senior Bowl, getting drafted first, second round, maybe in the third around there. The other guys maybe, like I said, third. You're looking at the highest, maybe fourth, and then till later. But it all depends. They can be mixed up. You can see some guys really early going in from one of these two games. I'm just saying I love it because there's three. You gotta understand, y'all, the NCAA is so dang big that a lot of these players are, there's not enough spots to go around on every roster. So I love that there's three games. It'd be nice to have a fourth one. But I think three are good for now. But I don't know, I'm just saying. But anyway, so the East-West Shrine Bowl here. We have the East side versus the West side in this one. American and National in the NFLPA Bowl. And then, of course, East-West or North-South in the in the Senior Bowl. wonder what it was. I'm really excited for practice this coming week, though. I always love watching that. Teran and I will have lots of notes on that. But coming up here in the in the East-West Shrine Bowl, Teran, we've got some pretty solid players. I know we're going to start with the West again. We're, of course, familiar with it on our side. But, Teran, there are some very good athletes coming on out, especially USC's very young Kionte Ingram. How are you feeling about him out there playing in this one on Thursday?
Yeah, I'm feeling rather good about Ingram and how he is going to get this chance. And USC's defense wasn't necessarily bad. It just wasn't at full strength more times than not. So I think for me, it's going to be fun to see Ingram. And coincidentally, when you mention Ingram, there's also another defensive back from the West Coast that is going to be featured. And I can't find him. I'm looking at the East. Sorry. So, Quentin Lake. I've seen Quentin Lake play, and that dude is a great defensive back, and I can't wait to see what he has to offer. And also keep an eye on some other big-name players. Keep an eye on, like, Bryce Watts. And this kid right here from UCF, Big Cat Bryant.
Yes.
Oh, boy. I can't wait to see some of these guys. And Mike Tafua, the guy that helped Utah win the Pac-12, the list goes on and on.
Absolutely, Teran. Great athletes there. I gotta highlight another one, man. We got kind of crazy. We got a freaking punter. Yeah, Ryan Stonehouse from Colorado State. Solid player here coming on out. It says here that Stonehouse is a good athlete, or as good as they get in the punting game, unless you play the Mountain West Conference. There's guys over at San Diego State that had arguably the best punting season in history of college football. Crazy, right? But yeah, he says here in this article, provided by Luke Moss, actually, this article written by, let me take a look here, Mike Whitman, on SB Nation, talking about the East-West Shrine Bowl. Solid punter here. He came in close at second, trailing by only .28 average per punt. Wow. So, yeah, he's also a master of the coffin corner. Teran, that is a very hard skill to learn, but if you can coffin corner a punt, I don't give a crap how big you are or how small you are, whatever. You can coffin corner a punt in the NFL. There is a place for you on a roster. I'll tell you that right now. You can pin people down at the 1 or 2 yard line. That's all you got to do. So, yeah, you're going to make lots of money doing that. So, also, running back Calvin Turner out of Hawaii says here that he is... let's see. So one of the most versatile players in Hawaii history. Turner played wide receiver, running back, wildcat quarterback, and returned kicks and punts for the Warriors in the past. In the past, Turner's size might have scared teams at 5'11 and 195, but in the era where Tyreek Hill, Deontay Johnson, Marquis Brown, absolutely types have roles, Turner can catch on somewhere. So yeah, they said he's shifty and he looks pretty solid. Offensive lineman Zach Thomas, talk about that big boy, 6'5", 300 pounds, exactly what you want. Pretty darn solid offensive lineman here, averaging 174.9 yards per game over a 5 yards of play. So solid big boy there. Another one, Snyder, Jack Snyder out of San Jose State. The big guy to take a look at here. Tight end Derek Deese Jr. out of San Jose State as well. So some players to look out for here. Take a look. Mike says here in the chat room, oh yeah, some NFL players didn't even get invites. Absolutely. Didn't even get invited, you guys. I believe Adam Thielen didn't even get a combine invite. Yeah, and look what the man has done. So, absolutely. So, yeah, Teran, so we're a little bit short on time. This show is a little thrown together. But we just want to mention some big names. Teran, anybody else you want to mention before we're out of here for the East-West Shrine Bowl, man?
So, when it came to the Shrine Bowl, there was one USC running back that I saw on there. Let me just pull it up there as it was. I'm trying to find USC right here, but there was a USC running back on the roster, and I'm like, I didn't even know USC had any running backs that were eligible. But I think he's going to do some good things. Oh, Kionte Ingram. He was running back. I kind of forgot that he was there. Brock Purdy is another big name because he gave Iowa State some good chances to win in the Big 12, especially since that's a tough conference to win in. So I think Brock Purdy is going to be a big-time player to watch for.
I certainly agree, Teran. Well, we got lots of big names to take a look at. We got Mike Pat here in the chat room. And he is definitely going to be joining us coming up this year as this transition from 3-and-out college edition to the NFL. Of course, 3-and-out. And we got a lot to get to, man. So with that said, that's pretty much going to do it. We named some big names there. We were kind of scarce on time. That's my fault because of the 3-and-out. Well, of course, because of the primetime face-offs. But I will say it has been great. Teran, thank you so much, man, for joining us here today. There's a few big names. Next week we'll be recapping, giving some of our thoughts, of course. It'll be an hour show, half an hour kind of recapping, looking at some big stats, or just, final looks at players. And then we'll be taking a look at the Senior Bowl, giving our thoughts on that. And then one more after that. And like I said, then it's on to the 3-and-out, just the regular 3-and-out. So, Teran, with that said, brother, anything else to add before we're out of here?
Yeah, we're going to be on next week because, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so just making sure, just because I have those 2 days next week dedicated to next Saturday show and next Sunday show, and I look forward to it. And if anything, we'll definitely have more things to talk about. And I'm excited, and the off season is not in our dictionary.
That's for sure, man. Well, Teran, it has been a fun one. We certainly had some great conversation there about this. The Rolex 24 is getting underway right now, so if you're near a TV, near a phone, near somewhere, make sure to check it out. USRN just got underway, of course, and they'll be talking Mr. Matthew Owens and company. We'll be talking plenty of that, and our stint is coming up in just about 10 hours. So be ready for the IE Sports Radio stint of the Rolex 24. Lots more to come. Frozen Takes coming up in just about 20 minutes with Amanda, with, of course, AJ. Frozen Takes with AJ. We got the Sports Club Perspective actually coming on today. We've been saying that the last couple Saturdays, and we're freaking actually doing it. We got a game night today. Oh, crap, Teran. We're ready to play some games tonight. Have some fun there. We got Made in Colorado coming up. We got that. We got lots of things coming up today. Lots of coverage of the Rolex 24 and lots more to come next week. So many great shows here. All kinds of fun. With that said, Teran, well, that's going to do it, brother. Let all these diehards know. Well, actually, wait a minute. We got to do something important first. Cue the music, because we're out of here. All right, Teran. Now, let all these diehards know where they can find you, brother.
You can find me on Twitter at Teran Rodriguez1. I post a lot of Teran Rodriguez stuff, so definitely follow me for all kinds of things sports related. So that's where you can find me. Also follow me at @_point_ID. I'm going to have some volleyball content, mainly tonight when Long Beach State plays Penn State. And then I'm also at SoCal Show IESR for SoCal Sports Show. So definitely follow me on those accounts.
Absolutely. You can follow me, your boy Larry B. at LB5, where you can follow all as a whole on IE Sports Radio at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, on Facebook, well, on Twitter, on, of course, Instagram, and give us a like on Facebook. We'd certainly like that. Once again, y'all, roll on over to USRN. You'll be seeing the link in just a few moments. The Rolex 24 just got underway. First hour of 24 just getting underway right now. Lots of college football action. Make sure to check out in just 20 minutes of course, the NFLPA Bowl. Make sure to check that out. And of course, coming up on Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, check out the East-West Shrine Bowl. And Jed, get ready for us next week at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, for the the Senior Bowl, the recap of NFLPA and the Shrine Bowl. So, with that said, this has been me, your boy Larry B. Teran Rodriguez. That will do it. We will see you next week. Until then, take care, and as always, God bless.